President Trump's nominee for Director of National Intelligence will face a final confirmation vote Wednesday morning. Tulsi Gabbard was seen as one of the president's more controversial picks. During confirmation hearings, she faced questions about meeting with Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad in 2017 and controversial comments she made about the war in Ukraine. CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins me now from Capitol Hill. Nikole, how do we get from Gabbard being one of the most controversial picks to her being expected to face little, if any, Republican defections for her confirmation vote?
Well, I think a couple of things. Obviously, that's kind of how the confirmation process works, right? I mean, many of these nominees have been up on Capitol Hill almost since the time that they were named, meeting, making the rounds with senators, having private meetings, and then, of course, going through the process of having those hearings, having subsequent conversations. So it isn't really necessarily a flippant decision on the part of some of these senators. Yes, many of them did have concerns about her stances on everything from her views on the intelligence community, her views on FISA with respect to that particular government surveillance program. Also, during the hearing, of course, she was pressed numerous times as to whether or not she believed Edward Snowden, the former NSA leaker, was a traitor, and her positions on Russia, of course, as well as her visit to Syria when she was a member of Congress. But in spite of all of that, in spite of kind of getting some pushback from senators and some tough questioning during that process of the hearings, many senators have had some time to think through their positions, most namely a lot of them being on that Senate Intel Committee, which held the hearing. You have people, for instance, like Senator Collins of Maine, who came out and said that, she feels that Tulsi Gabbard kind of clarified some of her views, that she wouldn't necessarily pardon, for instance, Edward Snowden, which was a concern that she had, that she kind of explained her views a little bit more with respect to FISA and foreign surveillance. So from that standpoint, that allowed Senator Collins to feel more comfortable with supporting Gabbard. We've subsequently seen other senators as well come out. Senator Lisa Murkowski, who's not on the Intel Committee, but who was one of those senators who was on the fence, also expressed her support for the senator. So basically now that many of these senators have had time to have additional conversations with Gabbard, think through this a little bit more, they have warmed up to her nomination, even though many Senate Democrats are vehemently opposed.
King Abdullah, Jordan met with a group of bipartisan lawmakers Tuesday. What did they discuss?
Well, we didn't really get much in the way of a readout. I was actually in the room with the King, met with leadership in terms of Senate Majority Leader Thune and a bipartisan group of senators. We did try to ask and follow up on that lengthy avail that the King had with the president earlier today in the Oval Office when President Trump kind of doubled down on his position with respect to a potential U.S. takeover of Gaza. I did try to ask the King and the leader if they believe that the U.S. has the authority to do that, since the president said that he believes that this could be done under U.S. authority, but neither one answered the question. But that being said, we know that the posture of the Jordanian government has been pretty clear with respect to rejecting the permanent displacement of the Palestinian people, which the president suggested in his remarks earlier today, that the Palestinians would need to be moved elsewhere so that that area could potentially be redeveloped in the Gaza Strip. Nonetheless, many members of Congress, even when the president made his remarks last week, kind of put some distance there, saying while they welcome solutions to the conflict in the region, it is one that merits further discussion.
Nikole Killion, thank you.